Our guest today is Star Walking legend, of course. He's a comedian. Oh, are we lying there, Steele? Come on.
No, I'm Star Walking guy by himself up the back of the room. That's what I was. But do go on.
It was the wallflower.
Yes. So he's a comedian, podcaster, and TV presenter. You might know him from the hilarious podcast I Love Green Guide Letters.
Yay! Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yes, or might know him from his brilliant Star Wars podcast, Steele Wars. Ryan Johnson also knows him as the sticker guy.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
And it's time to ignite the green and welcome our guest, Steele Saunders. So, welcome.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. And I'm so, my heart's so warm because Shane will know this, that I used to go to every meeting, like in the 90s and stuff, and in the 2000s, and I didn't really have many Star Wars friends to talk to the way Star Wars fans like us talk about Star Wars. So I used to hang out for those and drive like an hour, like from Rosebud to they were so exciting. I absolutely I hold my memories very close to my heart of like all the premieres and the Force conventions and stuff. It was it was so good. So it's a legit honor to be here in the presence of Shane Morrissey, no less. So
yes, he's really present right here too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I'll tell you a story about Shane. Right, I used to do this like punk rock fanzine in the 90s called Return of the Punk Guy. It was like a Star Wars themed punk rock fanzine, and like we interviewed like Blink 182 and we'd ask them about Star Wars. It was really quite weird. But I introduced myself to Shane at one of the meetings and asked him to interview him, and so I got to go to his house. And he showed me, this is like way before the internet, way before the special, this is like, I don't know, like 94, 95. And he showed me the head banging stormtrooper thing, right? And I'd never seen it before. And there was no internet. So I drove home that night and rang all my friends and told them to like fast forward to this bit. And like, it was this thing that we'd never seen before. It was absolutely insane. I love the internet, but it's so funny how things like word got around back then. Like you get like the juiciest, totally wrong Star Wars rumors from like the counter workers at Minotaur and stuff. It was fantastic.
Yes. All the lovely rumors, and that spreads like wildfire. It's brilliant.
Love it. You got to tell me this: is do you still have Yoda's kitchen?
Not at this venue, no.
What? You got to bring back the kitchen. That was the toasted cheese sandwiches. Like I mentioned that I was doing this to my wife yesterday, and she's like, "Do they still have Yoda's kitchen? Those sandwiches." I don't want to bring up a sore point in the fan club, but they were good sandwiches.
They were good sandwiches, and depending on the venue we're at, like this one's got their own kitchen facility, so they don't let us bring our own. But I know.
Bring it on.
I know. It's brutal. And what are you trying to do?
I know that guy.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
The camera's in the middle of the laptop.
God. The Young and the Restless.
The Young and the Restless. No, that was Shane.
Yeah, Baby Yoda was the young, and Shane was the restless.
Correct. Very much so.
Yeah, I've got such envy. I just to be at a Skyforce meeting.
Well, we're very lucky that we're actually able to do this, but between lockdowns and everything else that's going on down in Melbourne, as you know, it's first time in 2 years.
Oh, this is the first one?
Yeah, in 2 years.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome.
We're back. We can do things. So
get that convention going.
Yes. Initially, how did the Steele Wars podcast come about?
Okay, that's a fair enough question. I was doing I Love Green Guy Letters, and it was like a really popular like comedy podcast in Australia. And my wife was living overseas, and so I had lots of free time by myself, and I thought I could just start another podcast, and that'll take up more of my time, and I'll be interacting with people. I really like the Mark Maron podcast, how it was at the time where he'd interview comedians, and I thought you could do that about Star Wars fans and how they relate to Star Wars, because Star Wars is it's a shared media. It's one of the most shared medias in the world where everyone watches it, but they all watch it from a different perspective and from a different time in their lives and stuff. It sparks a lot of like warm memories and just like inspiring stories. So I just thought I could talk to people like that. And then also I had the double-edged sword of The Force Awakens was coming out, I think, in 2 years. And I just thought that'd be really fun to like do a podcast about like the lead up to this like phenomenal event. Like I really liked the documentary that his name's just eluding from me. Shane will know his name. He works at the project. But he did the Fandom Menace, which is now a name that's been totally co-opted by the internet. But it was about a lot of the Star Walking people, their lead up and their reaction and the aftermath of the Phantom Menace. And I always, like, because I was sort of watching it all, like I watched the documentary get filmed from the other side of the room sort of thing. So I sort of like that process of like, the anticipation and the reaction and stuff. And then it sort of it just turned into something, I don't know, it just turned into this bizarre worldwide adventure. Made like a lot of friends along the way. So yeah, good time. I'm smiling now, just thinking about it.
No, that's good. Like you enjoyed what you were doing. It wasn't like a chore or anything. It's turned into a global phenomenon too. So, that's brilliant. Over the time though, you've had many guests on on your podcast. Can you tell us about some of your favorite experiences from those?
Probably maybe, I don't know, just the bizarrest one was that Ben Mendelsohn came to my house and just talked about Star Wars for like an hour and a half and left. He just rocked in, tracksuit pants, put 3 packs of ciggies on the table, and loved all the toys. Like I had like my collection in this cabinet, and he was just like so into it. And he was after like all the Krennic merchandise, because I'm a big like Krennic Mendo fan. So that was just really weird that he just came to my house one day and then just left. And I was sort of hoping that we'd become best friends, but we didn't. But there is still time. That's very positive. I just thought he might be in need of another Australian in America, but only for 90 minutes, and then he bailed. But he was like super cool. And then like I got to like do a thing with Harrison Ford at the Opera House that was on the podcast, but it was for Studio 10. And I guess favorite guest, probably Ben Mendelsohn was like I don't know, because we just went on about it. Like we had the Mendo t-shirt, and we'd hear from his people now and then that he was interested in doing it and stuff. So that was a pretty cool one. Yeah.
That's cool. Like we've been able to share those experiences with you on the podcast as well, which has been amazing. But being there in person would have been a completely unique experience. So very jealous.
Just don't give him parking instructions. That would be my tip. He had this big truck and he was trying to use my underground car park. And I'm like, yeah, a bit further. He's like, yeah, I got it, mate. I got it. And I'm like, all right, you've got it, Mendo. So yeah, I don't know. Just going to the conventions and meeting people and stuff. Like I used to go to the Star Walking ones, and I'd know literally not one person. I'd know Shane. Shane would always say hey to me, and I sort of knew no one else. So it was a very solo experience. It was very like internal. And then like to go now and like have people that listen to the podcast and, that you've hung out with on Twitter or whatever, Yeah, it's a whole different, and I would argue far more enriching experience when you've got all these personal connections and stuff. So I'm really looking to the convention's coming up in a couple of months, and I haven't seen that many people in the past 2 years, so I'm pretty excited.
Like we had I know Supernova, as you're aware of what it is, a couple of weeks ago here, and it's nowhere near on the grand scale as what Celebration is or any of the conventions over in the US, but it was odd going out and being amongst other, fans, just in general at a convention. So it's going to be unique this celebration, especially after what's happened, and everyone's going to be in the same sort of feeling. It's going to be a unique experience.
Yeah, there's I'm sick of unique experiences. Are you? I give us the mundane. Just give me a mundane experience. That's these unique experiences. You can keep it.
Too many of them, right? No, we want to be back to normal and boring, right?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've been not just a Star Walking member for a long time though, but what is your memories? What is one of some of your favorite memories of the club?
I honestly remember going into Minotaur. I had that concept to screen to collectible book by Steve Sansweet, which is just the Bible. I adore it. I read it because back then, 94, 95, there was so little thing. I would just memorize it, read it. And it was sort of, it was so good. And so I went into Minotaur, with this is a good name drop with Paul Dempsey from Something for Kate. We'd always go into Minotaur when we go into the city, and there was a flyer on the shelf in the Star Wars section, which was tiny, for Star Walking, and I was just like, oh my God, there's a Star Wars fan club there's other people into Star Wars, overly, in Melbourne. And I think it was the last meeting was just 2 weeks ago. So maybe that's why the flyers were there, because they put them there just before that meeting. And so the next meeting was in 2 months. And I was just let's go. I was just counting down. And it was when it was at the university at the top of the city, and it had that big auditorium and the big screen, and Darren would do the auction, and it was sort of we'd watch the internet together, because someone had good internet, and they would download the fan film or the parody, and we'd just watch the internet on this big screen, and it was just the best. And someone would come out and read what new Hasbro figures were coming out, or a Rick McCallum picture of what the special edition was going to look like and stuff. And the one thing that I participated in or contributed was they would do this thing where you'd film your collection, and you would talk. I think this is what everyone else did, but what I did, I filmed it, I made a video, and then I sort of did commentary over it, and there was all these little sketches in it, and it ended with a life-size Yoda driving my car down the street, and I was hiding underneath it and stuff. And I found the tape when I was back in Australia, so I've got it in this box that I'm going to digitize and put up, because it's pretty cool. And then the midnight premieres for the special editions and stuff, they were just awesome.
So the last time we saw you here in Melbourne, you're at the screening of the first episode of Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
So what was your, seeing the whole series of it now, what was your overall thoughts of the show?
Just patched together with moments of brilliance. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was really, I don't know, just it didn't seem to bind together the way I'd hoped. But there was some bits were just staggering. That Bryce Dallas Howard episode with the Mandalorian, which is separate from the whole thing, but whatever. But that, just as an episode of Star Wars, I couldn't sleep after that. It was just thrilling moment after thrilling moment. But yeah, I just thought it was patchy, and it sort of I didn't like how Grogu went back. Like it was like that moment when Luke took Grogu at the end of season 2 was so like emotional and stuff. And then the way it all sort of just unraveled, I don't know, it just made me sort of like I had a belief that they had this really exquisite long-term plan, and now I feel like they had a really exquisite 2-season plan. But fingers crossed they can bounce back. But it didn't like it didn't blow me away, but moments of it did.
No, I'm a massive Boba Fett fan. I've got tattoos all over me as well. But I agree. It was like kind of staggered and patched together in a sense. Like there's excellent episodes, and excellent moments here and there. But you're right. It was like things were shortcuts, and it felt like they just skipped a bit, just made it happen. So hoping they don't do the same thing with upcoming projects.
Well, the Kenobi one, I think it's going to be a lot more cinematic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I've just got like visual, like OCD about it, but I just like having one director for the series sort of thing. So with Deborah Chow sort of, doing the whole thing, at least it's going to be smooth because I don't know, the Boba Fett, like
Absolutely.
the Robert Rodriguez episode sort of just stood out. I don't know. He seems to make things look cheaper than they are. So, but yeah, I think Kenobi's just gonna just blow people away. I sort of think it's like this tonic that all fans, like, who doesn't love, like, even if you like the prequels, Ewan McGregor as Ben Kenobi.
No, he's the key character that everyone comes out with love for. He's awesome. So, any predictions that you believe going to happen in the ObiWan Kenobi series?
Not really, because I don't really have predictions that aren't based on things that I shouldn't know. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to I tell you what I'm excited, but I just want to see more of little Luke. I love him. I just Luke Skywalker is he's my like lifelong hero. And I just hope he's treated like they do it well, and I hope everyone's like either way is really cool to him, like in real life. But yeah, I'm excited about little Luke. The whole thing's gonna be sick, but I'm like Luke Skywalker, born and raised.
No, there's quite a few fans out there in this audience here, even dressed as Luke today. So it's the Luke Obi-Wan, they're the biggest two followers at the moment. That's just amazing. We do, going back to your Steele Wars podcast. We love your red carpet interviews, but can you tell a little bit about your experiences talking to cast and crew?
It's high pressure because you're only meant to ask 2 questions, and then they sort of move on, and they don't come in an order, and sometimes you have to kind of battle to get a certain, like in a group when there's like a whole thing, you've got to like, hey, come, make sure you get like Daisy Ridley or whatever. But it's a lot of fun. It's like it's like, for me, it's like the most fun, especially like getting to talk to someone like Kathleen Kennedy that doesn't get asked many questions, it seems. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, especially like direct fan questions. So when I'm doing it, because I'm normally doing it for like a TV thing back home, I normally try to do one question for the TV and then one question for me and my friends, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it leads to some interesting answers and stuff. But yeah, it's really cool. I sort of thought, I think with all the things that I've done, like with comedy and stand-up and stuff, and also Star Wars and podcasting, I feel like it's that if that could be a job, is Star Wars red carpet interviewer. I feel like that's the job I've trained the most for in my life. So
it'd be pretty good to have that as your job title. Just that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, they just need to bring out movies like every 3 weeks or something. But I am going. I'm going to Celebration to do stuff. So that's gonna be so. There's a chance I'll get to do it in a couple months, which is tremendously exciting. I might just I might just burst into tears right now. I just want to get back and do stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like just want to have some fun.
No, anything to do with Star Wars is fun. We agree with that. So you said you're going to Celebration. You've been to many of the others in the past, I'm sure, but what are your favourite memories from them?
My favourite memory for this one is not having to get in a plane to go there. That's going to be awesome. I don't know. I like we usually do like a live podcast at night. Like on the Saturday, it's sort of like, just for Steele Wars listeners and stuff. And like that's not officially part of Celebration, but it's like that's just like it's such a positive vibe that it's that's one of my favorite things. I just like walking around saying hey to people, walking around on the floor and just sort of soaking it up. I do enjoy the hotel bars considerably. Pardon me, my little boy. There's Harry. Hey, say hi to Australia. Hi. They're in Melbourne. All right, hop down because I don't want to show any more parts of you on the internet.
Huggy kiss.
Oh, huggy kiss?
Oh. Come on, Nudie. Dad's working.
Come on. Thanks, dude. Sweet dreams. Now, I should point out his name is Harrison, but my wife pushed for that name. So, I always, because when it's like, oh, Harrison, it's like, oh, Star Wars. Like, my wife likes Harrison Ford, all right. Just it's not me. Like I'm a nutbag, but not that way.
Yeah.
But like probably the best Star Wars Celebration thing I've seen, and I've seen a few real good ones. Was it the 40th anniversary where John Williams was behind this curtain the whole time, and George Lucas and Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billy Lord gave the speech, the eulogy, if you will, and I don't know, that was just like all of Star Wars compressed into 90 minutes. So that was that was pretty good. And if you listen to the podcast where we're in the stadium as it's all happening and the curtain opens and you just hear me yell out, "That's John Williams!" And it was that was pretty incredible. Just the vibe on the floor and just how stoked people are. People hate them, but those old overnight lines, just I don't know. Let's just use up all the time. I can sleep on Wednesday. It's
exactly. Sleeps for the dead. I'm not a Star Wars fan.
It's a good thing they've gotten rid of those, but they were sort of, I don't know, painfully good. I did one at Comic-Con in San Diego for The Force Awakens for the JJ panel. And that's outside in summer in San Diego on grass under a tent where you're sleeping. It was bliss. I remember going, we were in this line all day. We're about to go to sleep. It's 1 a.m, got our wristbands and stuff. The panel wasn't until 5 o'clock the next day, but we had to go in and wait the whole day. It was a whole thing. But I remember just drifting off on the grass and just going, tomorrow's going to be the best day ever. And it was just the nicest feeling with all the grass around me and stuff. It's it's I just all the experiences and the memories is it's a lot of fun. It's a lot cheaper to collect them, I feel like, except for plane fares.
Yeah, some people like collecting the figures and having those sort of experiences, but the memories I find are the ones that sort of you're experiencing them and you've been part of it. They're ones you want to collect.
Yeah, I used to collect every figure and stuff, and it just got too out of hand. But now I just get more things that are attached to memories, sort of thing. So if it's an exclusive from a con, I always like to get something like that. Or this one just caught me in the eye. Ben Mendelsohn liked this one a lot. This is Mexican chocolate milk, Mendo milk. I'm not sure if you can see that,
Mendo
but it's
milk.
like, yeah, it's like those little Prima packs back home, but yeah, it's chocolate milk. So I was in Mexico and I was like, oh, exclusive milk. Harry did ask if we could drink it the other day, and I was like, oh,
The expiry date would have been well and truly gone by now.
I don't know. It's long life. No, July 2017. So
Yeah, maybe not then. Maybe not.
we can't drink it, Harry. He's listening.
We've got some questions from some other podcasters and some friends in the audience today. Josh Chapman. So he sent a message in, a question for you. Was it better doing a 3-minute interview with Harrison Ford or doing a full podcast with Ben Mendelsohn? I think you've kind of answered that question today, but
I have to say, the Harrison Ford one brought more joy. Because it was such a thing, and because it was on TV and stuff. Like, and the cool thing about that was, I was getting married that week. And Jackie was still in America and she was coming back. And so she knew, like, I'd sort of been working to get this interview thing all year. And so we were both very excited. And I asked him, like, in our rings, like, we're going to get, one of us is going to get I love you, the other one's going to get I know, but we're arguing over who should get what. You know, you got to help me out. What should I do? And he goes, put his hand on my shoulder, which I still haven't washed it, right? And he goes, pal, I've been married a long time. You're getting the I love you, and walked off laughing. And I didn't tell Jackie I asked him that question until I sent her a digital file of it to watch. So she sort of got surprised by it all. So I think, as far as experience, probably the Harrison Ford one, because I don't know if anyone in the audience was there, but they had that big Star Wars thing at the Opera House, and Harrison Ford did an interview, and it was like the big day out for Star Wars fans. Like, there was all these different displays, and it was, I don't know, it was sort of just like, it's our time. Yes, we have waited so long. And, we're sort of getting our grand final week, as it were.
Yeah.
So that whole week was magic. But yeah, I would say the Harrison Ford one, because it just brought, like, a lot of people, I don't know, it just brought a lot of joy. A lot of people, and especially people that, like, were listening to the podcast or knew me through comedy and stuff, they sort of, I found that year that, like, a lot of people just appreciate enthusiasm, and I don't know, people just, like, it made people happy how happy Star Wars made other people, sort of thing, myself included. So God, that year was good.
All right, I've got one from Andy Campbell. He's
hey,
the Star Wars 101 podcast. His question is, what other sequel story would you like to see, as in movie or TV series?
Off the sequels?
Yeah, that's what he's asked. What other sequel story?
I'd like it for them all to come back. Like, I would definitely like. I would like Rian Johnson to direct Star Wars' episode 10, 11, and 12. And I didn't enjoy The Rise of Skywalker as much as I'd hoped, and a few of the plot twists sort of disappointed me. So I love all those characters, and I would like the story to go on so that film doesn't sting as much, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd like to see. I'd like more Rey. And I know I don't know how, and I don't even care. But Ben Solo, I want Adam Driver, Ben Solo, like just I don't know how you do it, but he's so good. That shrug, that was some of the best acting in Star Wars.
It was, iconic. There's memes about it. So I've got another question from Catherine Neen from That Geek Pod.
Awesome. She's the best.
Yeah, she's awesome. Do you think they will make movies starring the characters from the Disney Plus shows, aka Mandalorian?
My media OCD makes me think they shouldn't, but they might. I don't know. I hear that talked about a little bit, and I just find it weird. What do you think? Like, would you want the big climactic Mandalorian event to be in a cinema? I don't know. I sort of.
It is a tricky question because I would rather have that 6 to 8 hours of content of episode,
Yeah.
getting more detail to learn about those characters rather than a 90-minute movie or a 2-hour movie. You can spread it out over a period of time. These new characters to get more depth into them. People want that story. I think on the small screen on Disney Plus, I think it's probably the best way of doing them. But having them feature in a film as a cameo, not opposed to that. Just I don't think they need to be the main feature of the film.
Yeah. I don't know. It just feels. It'd be weird to see him on a big screen, I think.
Yeah.
Like, be like, oh, you've done it. Yeah, I don't know. The film's just like there's no stable footing. So it's hopefully we'll have some more clarity after or during celebration and stuff. But I think a lot of Star Wars fans at the moment kind of just don't trust them to come through with stuff because do you know what I mean? Stuff gets announced and it's like, that'd be good if they made it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a lot more in the conversation now than it used to be.
Well, there's a lot more people with opinions, and I don't know whether there's pressure on them that they have to get everyone happy. They're not going to make everyone happy. Just make a good story. Most people like it.
Well, I sort of think Star Wars is like one of the hardest things to continue on with because it's such a I call it like the Star Wars taco, where you've got all these different ingredients that are different, and people like guacamole by themselves or shredded beef or whatever, but together, you've got the swashbuckling, the romance, the sci-fi, the fantasy, the costume. Like you've got all these things, and you've got Luke Skywalker, you've got the Empire, and it's hard to get it. Like each time they've tried to do it without sort of the main bit of Star Wars, they've like when they did Rogue One, it was like, oh, it's a war movie, and then halfway through it, it's like it's too much for a war movie. And then, Solo, it's like it's a comedy. It's too funny. Like it's to get that Star Wars balance it's so hard. But and that's why I feel like they went too fast through the movies. Like, do you know what I mean? It took George Lucas 3 years to do it, and he made it all up. So I sort of wish that they sort of like knew the task at hand and sort of took a bit more time, sort of thing. Even with the third, Boba Fett being the third Mandalorian season per se, it just seems like they were running out of gas, trying to pump them out every year.
Trying to do too much in a short period of time.
Yeah, and it's the same creative crew and stuff. And I feel like those first 2 seasons are just for me close to perfection. Do you know what I mean? You have your gripes every week and stuff, but the whole thing, by the end, it was so rewarding.
It definitely was.
I was a blubbering mess as well.
Well, there was one part which comes to my next question. This one's from Dale Williams. With the positive fan reaction to the appearance of young Luke Skywalker in both The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett, the one we saw at the end of the season. Do you think Disney will give him his own show, and should they?
I'm so onto Kenobi. I was thinking about young Luke Skywalker, like the 9-year-old one. And I'm like, what? He's in. I don't know. They might, but I don't know. It's so hard to work out because you think if they were going to make a series of it, they'd swap it out for a real person. But
Yeah.
maybe but they also seem so I don't know, a little bit obsessed with the technology, like having. Like, I don't know, it's what happened to George Lucas as well, I think. You get corrupted by like Darth Vader, you get corrupted by the technology. Because even having, I think that whatever that thing is it's staggering. It's amazing. But like then having the voice made by a computer as well, it's just like, you can get, like, there's plenty of people that can do a bang on Luke Skywalker. Get, like, Nathan Hamill. If you hear him say Mark Hamill's son, you hear him say R2. It is, he says it in Empire Strikes Back cadence. Mark Hamill. It's quite like unnerving to be around. It's like a soundbite. But yeah, I don't know. I would, either way, I would love it. And I think if it's an actor, it would be a lot more a deeper love compared to if it's like the deep fake. It's more of just it's more of a sugar rush.
Yes.
Yeah, it's more of a sugar rush than like a great meal. And I feel like with an actor you could get more of a great meal. But I'm up for either. And I don't want to keep this metaphor going.
No. That's all right. It's a good metaphor. It does make sense. And not everyone in the audience is sort of nodding and agreeing to it. Good, so. Yep. So we do have a lightning round. So I've got 10 questions. Nice and quick. See if you can just give simple, quick answers. So you ready?
To give a quick answer? No, but I'll try.
No? Okay, cool.
I'm a podcaster.
Oh, that's right. We all like talking about Star Wars as well. So that's right. Never a quick answer from us. Favorite movie?
Return of the Jedi. Come on. Ignite the green.
Yep. Favorite character?
Come on. Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
Ignite the green.
Favorite ship?
X-Wing.
Beautiful. Favorite droid?
R2. R2.
Sounds like there's a question mark at the end of that, though.
No, I'm just not into, like, I don't think about droids as much as other people might, but whenever R2's just popped up, like, it's just, like, when he popped up at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, it was just like I was like peak emotion. I just melted for 20 minutes crying, and then R2, and it's just like, oh, and that movie pulled in the Last Jedi where he shows the hologram of Leia.
Yeah.
But this is the thing about R2, right? He knows everything. Like, he's there watching. He knows their brother and sister. Like, it. You got to speak up, R2. You got to speak up.
Yeah. Favorite planet?
Oh, I think I'll go with Tatooine. The best stuff happens on Tatooine.
Prequels, original, or sequels?
Originals.
Ewoks or Porgs?
Oh, that's a tough call. I love them both, but like Ewoks, like my childhood Wicket, Kenner, little teddy bear is like in Harry's room and he still squeezes it. Like Wicket, I just adore. I was perfect Jedi age, and for Ewoks, and yeah, Lucas and Kenner, they saw me coming. I was keen.
Yeah. Yeah, you and me like I was at that age. Return of the Jedi was my favorite. I grew up with that one as well. It's just, yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story I've told on the podcast before, but I was at Force 2, Star Walking Convention, down in Moorabbin, Steve Sansweet guest, Jeremy Bullock, Kenny Baker, and I'd never been to a Star Wars convention before, and there's the panelists are talking about something, and someone brings up Ewoks. And then I hear people at this Star Walking event booing in the back. The cool guys, boo. And I turned around and I'm like 20 or something. And it had never occurred to me that you could not like the Ewoks. because I'd never talked to other Star Wars fans. And I was just like, oh my God, people don't like Ewoks. Like it hadn't, I didn't fathom it was possible. I didn't realize it was a choice.
No, it's odd to hear that people don't like Ewoks. Like I'm hearing other stories as well from that era as well. Oh, yes. I'm getting names thrown out to me as well.
But yeah, before the internet, you didn't get to know what everyone's thoughts were. So it was they just shouted out from the back of the room, and it was shocking. I got to tell you.
Dash Rendo or Jackson?
Jackson the Rabbit?
Yeah.
Oh, Dash Rendar, mate. Shatters the Empire. What an experience. Love it.
Exactly.
Those shoulder pads. If he popped up in a cameo in one of these shows, I would pop huge. That'd be great. Just massive shoulder pads.
Yeah, they got to really embellish it big time. You know, you got to accentuate him. Just make him stand out. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, get him back in. Give him a cartoon or something. I think he's rad. And even if he like it would be a cool plot line if he like just hated Han, like he was sort of like jealous of Han Solo, and kind of wanted to be him but hated him, sort of thing, like as part of his character. But yeah, Dash definitely never got into Jackson. That was Marvel was that early Marvel stuff was too. There was a bunny rabbit. What more do I have to say?
Yeah, and he's green. Biggest prick in the Star Wars galaxy: Palpatine or Bib Fortuna?
Oh, Bib Fortuna. I don't care that Palpatine like ruined. He's like Palpatine worked it. He had to work. He had to machinate for 50 years or whatever. Bib Fortuna's just like, he's just so disrespectful to Luke. It's like one of those things. It annoyed me when I was like 4 or whatever, and it's just stuck with me. It's just like Wadawanga. It's like, shut up. So when Boba Fett shot him, I was like,
there was 4 cheers.
Justice. You shouldn't have disrespected the Jedi.
No.
Never.
Last question: Max Rebo or the Cantina Band?
Oh, Rebo, come on.
Do you think he survived?
Oh yeah, of course he did. They didn't show him there for a reason. But like that whole the Kenner set that came out with the big piano, and he was just so like a blue elephant playing a space piano. Like what's not to love? No disrespect to the Cantina Band.
No disrespect at all. But Return of the Jedi. You got to one up the more grandiose band and song and everything.
I'll give you another Star Walking factoid. At the Force 2 convention, the Cantina Band member was the convention exclusive from Kenner.
Oh.
And it came with all the instruments and stuff in a little white box. It was thrilling.
Getting some nods out there in the crowd. Some of the old people, older. So, thank you very much for our chat today and an interview. It's been amazing having you here. I know it's not really daytime for you there. It's late.
It's a very hot Friday night, but it's like I'm thrilled. As I I love like the club, and it's brought me so many great memories and stuff. And when you announce the convention, I'm definitely going to try to wrangle my plans around going. Yeah, so want to come. So
we would love for you to be there.
Yeah, and just big shout out to you guys for keeping it going, and everyone that's contributed, because as I say, it like for someone that didn't know anyone that was into Star Wars, it meant a lot to me to come up every like 2 months and I don't want to bring it up again, but toasted sandwich and from Yoda's Kitchen, and
But before we part ways, we do have a special thing we'd like to present to you. Star Walking. I don't know if we got it here. Star Walking would be like to present you an honorary membership to the club, which is a life membership.
Really? Wow. that means a lot to me. Yeah, that's. Can I bring back Yoda's Kitchen? Can that be my first degree?
Yes, we will make sure it's back. The signage is still there.
Thank you so much. It's weird where your life takes you and stuff, and honestly, when Shane let me go to his house and show me all his stuff and a bit of the Death Star and just talk to me about Star Wars for hours, it was like it left, I don't know, just such an impression on me of how welcoming he was and stuff, and that's always sort of been the vibe of the fan club. So yeah, thanks. That's really cool. I so appreciate that.
No, we appreciate you sharing your time with us and sharing your experiences with us as well. But I think that well, I'm just getting some.
Hey, wait, can I ask? Is there still an auction?
There is still an auction, yes.
Oh, is there anything good? Can I bid on it?
There's some Lego. There's books. I can't really see much more from here, but yeah.
I'll save it. But the auction used to just be so. I used to love stalking out. I remember it was when anyone brought back some Lucasfilm like Skywalker Ranch merchandise. It was just like
Everyone's jumping at that. Yeah. Yes, but the hand goes up. I'll just leave it up. Yep, it's staying up. I want it.
Thanks so much for having us. I so appreciate it. And I'm going to make this into a little podcast and that so people can listen to it, find out about the club. Yeah, but thanks so much. I had a lot of fun.
No, well, thank you for coming. So